Welcome, everybody. This is a day trading options daily review for May 2nd, 2016. Thank you very much for joining us. Our typical talk is all about can you make 10% in 10 minutes? And if you look at our playlists and our past hangouts, you'll see every time that there's that much or more to be made. So a lot better place to put your money than in the bank or a GIC. And unless you're in Vancouver or Toronto or New York, where the housing market is going absolutely insane, there's no better place to put your money in our opinion. However, we know that the housing markets do turn around, and we know the stock markets turn around. So the beauty of this is when it turns around, you can do the opposite and still make money. But when you've got $1 million house and it's heading towards 500,000, you're somewhat stuck.
Yeah.
Okay, so Alan, were we able to achieve our goal, 10% in 10 minutes?
Yes, and I'm trying a different format here to see if people like it better. We used to walk you through from here blind to there so you could see it, but I'm just going to show you the whole day because it's a little bit faster to do that. So here you had the signals. You were outside of the risk zone. You had the tint and the color. At that point, the market was running down. Yeah, that thing will disappear in a second. There it is. So the market was running down. That's what that black line is. You had this color here. So essentially everything was good, and you could have made money on that, no problem. You could have grabbed that. That's not my idea of a great trade, but there are some people that trade that because it had enough good indicators with it to say, yep, that's a good one. So let's go look at the next one. And so this was Amazon, and I actually know people that were riding that. I think Susan talked about that for, the majority of the day, where, yeah, she got her 10% pretty quick. And it was like, oh, I should have hung on. So we're going to talk about the hang on clue, and that is the mag line. So there's the mag line, that blue thing I just added, which is right here running down this way. And yeah, it crosses it here, but you see, you get another entry signal right here that you could have rode the thing. That was a huge 100% profit kind of day, because this was a big move for Amazon. And it's done it many times before, and it'll do it again. So let's go look at another one, Baidu. So here all the signals are in play right there. You've got you're moving in the right direction. Now Baidu had a pretty good gap from the day before. So Baidu is one of those things, or any of them, when they have a big gap, you may want to just chill out for the first hour to see how it plays out. And then quite often when it's a really big gap like this one, then it just seems to go sideways the rest of the day and do nothing. So that's big gaps. And here's what it looks like on the 60-minute chart. So each of these are whole days with the boxes around them. So there it was at 194 the night before, and then it opened up at 185. So it lost 5% overnight. Well,
that's a big drop.
A big drop. So riding the first few minutes in this way, depending on what the news says and how you felt about it, that's okay. But gaps, you got to treat as different. So either you know how to trade gaps or you don't trade them. You learn. And then finally, we're going to look at VRX, because I actually know my good friend, he actually traded this and made, he doubled his money on this day, which is fine when it's $5,000. You're pretty happy. And so here you've got all the things going for you, and you're making money. And it's like, well, why would you get that one? Well, we've got some rules that we teach, and but something is coming soon is called the Hermes list. It's on the Hermes list as you should be riding that in the red direction. So you'll hear more about that in the future. But those are the trades, and you can see this is the point about replay, is you just go load the day, and then you hit control end, and then boom, you've got the whole day in front of you. So you can, arrow up and arrow down, and you can go, oh, okay, well, where was the trades? Okay, there, I've got lots of pink, and I got some green, blue going on. And it's like, well, what's better about this and better about that? oh, there's hardly any color here. Oh, there's a bit of color, but it doesn't follow through. So how would I stay out of that trade? And you learn a few things because you want to know why you're staying out of these trades or this trade. And so that's all you do is you're walking through and go, okay, well, this fits all the rules. I've got that color there. I've got this. And we've got a full video that we've shared. I think actually you've got that up on YouTube, don't you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's on YouTube and it's also in our Facebook group.
Yeah, so I mean, it's like there's the full training is in that other video. We called it trigger happy trading, and it's not actually about trigger happy. It's about, did you get a trigger? Well, then you're going to be happy because it's probably making you money. So, but that's the idea of using the replay and going through things. It's like, well, that's in the risk zone. I don't like it. This is in the, it's yucky, and nothing much happens. That's right. Where here, oh, I got signal here, but it didn't follow through to the red, so I didn't get in. All that kind of stuff. You learn all these things. And so like here, the market was falling off. So why would you get that if the market is falling off the black line? But here, the market you can see is stepping up and up. Well, then buy something that's rising. So that's the power of the replay is you get to look at all that stuff and test your rules in a high-speed way and go, ooh, how would I have known to stay in this trade?
Right.
Yeah.
So, Alan, can we go towards the beginning of the day, maybe around 9:40, and see what would happen if we stayed in for about an hour in Amazon?
Sure.
So here you've broken through the risk zone. You got the nice painting. You're above the mag line. You're above your benchmark. So it's looking good. So we bought our call.
Yeah, and you don't need to be timid because if it's going your way, great. And if it suddenly turns around, just get out. It's easy.
Yeah.
And that's where people.
You don't hold on.
Remember I said 10% in 1 minute? So here it is at 9:40. Then at 9:41, it's made 10%, and boom, I'm out. Oh, I want to. It's like, well, that's your problem? Is you make 10% in 1 minute? No, I don't think that's a problem. So now it pulls back, and you're at where you are, but you notice the market line
still going up.
Still going up. So it's like
that's like 3,000 stocks are heading, generally speaking, upwards, and your stock is probably going to follow.
Yes. So let's just see. Oh, well, it's coming back, and it's like, well, there's a Y point. Should I get out? Well, the market's a little bit. I'm going to wait a minute and see. Oh, look at that. The market's falling off, and now the stock is still going up. This is where you want to test all this stuff and say, well, what does that mean to me? And some people.
We're at 12%.
I'd get out at 12% and take that. That'd be happy, right?
I'm trained at the Y point to get out.
Yeah, exactly. So, now it's breaking. Well, this is why you want to get out of half in some cases, because it's like, I got paid, so it can't be bad. So the other half, how's that working out? That's why the half thing exists. Well, now you're looking, well, I'm down to 3% on my other half. I'm not liking it, and okay, I'm going to get out. And so I made money on half or all, depending what you're doing. And then I'm going to ignore this choppy stuff. And then you have to end up getting back in here. And you go, damn it, I didn't like that. But you see, this is the thing about trading and learning, is if your style is that I've made money, and now I'm getting to the mag, and yes, the market is way off, but people love Amazon. How do you know that? Because the previous day, they had an earnings, right? And so huge jump up. Swing traders are going to either love it or hate it, and be rich or get killed jumping off of buildings. So that's where you have to, and that's why testing it. It's like, well, my rules, blah, blah, blah. Great. Make your rules, test your rules. So you'd be out here then at a small loss if you got out of the mag line. I didn't like that. Well, what are we doing? We're waiting for the next one. What's the next one? I've got color here and follow up here. Let's see if it beats that. Well, the whole market's moving up, and the market is higher than where it was this morning in the earlier part. So good chance, because the market is leading, good chance that this thing is actually going to go higher than this also. Looks like a good trade. So it's having trouble. It's going to struggle. And then there's the flutter, right? This switched up to 5-minute candles now. Just moving forward quickly. But you're still holding on. Okay, so you got out there when it crossed the mag. Well, you made money again. So this is about testing, right? And some people are uncomfortable with this bits of flutter, but the ones that make the biggest money, and I've got two people that make like 80 grand a month. One doesn't trade anymore because she bought her $1 million house and that was all she wanted. She was from another country working in Walmart. So she's done. But the other fellow, they both have the same personality type, which is that they think they're going to hold on to it for most of the day for the big dollars. And that's right. But that takes a bit of getting used to. And how do you know that this one is going to do well? Well, that's a matter of getting good at the 60 chart and knowing what to do here. I can't teach people this. It needs experience. I can give you what to look for, but that's why we start you out with a 10% and we give you all the tools is, hey, you can do that. And so there's another trade signal right here, right there. Yeah, it's already run a fair bit today, but as you can see, people are just loving Amazon. I don't need to know why. I just know that they do. So anyways, you can hang in on that thing and then get out when you don't like it anymore. So they would be the kind of people that would exit when it crosses back into the risk zone. So from and you can see I kept the counter going here. We're at 60% profit, and that's the end of the day. Well, you want to get out before the last few minutes, probably.
Beautiful. Thank you very much, Alan. There you go. Obviously, most of us would get in and get out at different points during the day, but obviously there was lots of opportunity to make our 10% in 10 minutes and then more if we want to hang on. I really like the idea of letting half of it go and then let the other half run for a while.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to lose. That's what happens a lot, right? Is you make some money and then you lose a lot.
So with getting started, small accounts, you want to take the profit, take the profit. But now that when people have bigger accounts, that's when they start going, oh, well, I'm gonna try getting the bigger cash. And it's like you have to catch the longer runs if you want to do that.
Right. Great. Thank you very much. Thanks for joining us, everybody. There's a subscribe button in the bottom right-hand corner. Please subscribe to our channel and you won't miss any of these reviews that we do or any of the other things that we do. We've got links to the courses that we have on Udemy in the description below if you want to learn how to do this. And you can find out more about us at www.wavesofprofit.com. See you next time. Thanks for joining us. Bye-bye.